Guys, I'm gonna microneedle my face, neck, and chest tonight. So I did a video a while back of nano needling, which is no needles, and I've done some microneedling a couple of times. I'm gonna do it tonight. So I'm using the Dr. Pen microneedling pen, and I really love it. It's so easy. And I'm using a 36 pin cartridge. I have it set on 0. I'm gonna pop it in, turn it counterclockwise, take out the white cap, and then I'm going to set it on 0.3. So I'm just doing shallow needling. I'm ready to go. I have this Costa Baja hyaluronic acid slathered all over my face. I'm gonna even put a little bit more on. I want lots of slip. And I like this just for microneedling. I'm not a fan of it for skincare because it seems to cause other products to pill a lot. There's a lot of other products I like better for hyaluronic acid. So my pen's ready to go. I'm going to put it on speed 3 and I'm just gonna get started. So I'm gonna start with the little circles. Honestly, it doesn't hurt. I don't need any numbing cream or anything. The forehead's always a little bit ticklish because it's bony. Sometimes I find I sneeze and I'm just kind of going up and down little circles. I'm gonna hit everything 3 times. I'm gonna do circles, then up and down, and then sideways. And I'm gonna speed this up so you don't have to see the whole thing. But I've been reading some articles by Dr. Setterfield, who's an expert on microneedling, and he is finding that people are getting better results at shallow depths with less risk, fewer problems, and that collagen is being inducted only at a depth of 0.06, so there's really no need to go all the way down to like a 1 or 1.5 depth, or all the way up, I should say, unless there's some other reason for that. So I'm personally not going to be going over 0.5. That's going to be what I consider my medical microneedling level. And I did do that one time a couple of weeks ago, and it went well. I really didn't have a lot of redness. I had maybe 2 or 3 little pink pinpricks on my forehead from that. And then a couple of days after that, my skin started to get dry, and the skin on my chest was kind of rough and dry, almost like sandpaper. And I would say at about 6 days after I did that microneedling, all of that just sort of sloughed off and my skin was smoother and better. So I did have to put up with some dry skin, but strangely it didn't really kick in until about 3 days after I microneedled. And then of course, with my age, when my skin is dry, I look a little more wrinkly. So we'll see how this goes. It's supposed to take several times before you really see results. And I just feel like this is going to be kind of a good thing to do to help me smooth out some lines and texture that I have on my skin. So I'm really happy with face yoga, which has helped get rid of all my sagging skin, but I still do have some lines and texture. So you can see where I go over with a pen, it gets a little bit red, but so far when I've done it before, by the time I'm finished, it's pretty much gone. Not bleeding. I am going to turn this down a little bit to go right under my eyes. So you can go right on under your eyes at about a depth of 0.25 and I'm gonna hold my skin taut. And honestly, I barely feel this at all. And these needles are super, super fine. So I really love this pen. This is the Ultima M8. I'll put a link in the information section. All right, so I'm turning that back up. Definitely want to go over the crow's feet area. I think I'll just do this whole side of my face. So obviously I started with a clean face, clean hands, sterile cartridge. You want to be real careful about that. And the first couple of times I did this, I was pretty slow, but now that I know what I'm doing, I'm more comfortable. And before I did this, I just microneedled my thighs because I have some weird postmenopausal gravity thigh stuff going on. And I did it once before at a little bit of a higher depth. And I thought that my skin on my legs would be thicker than the skin on my face, but I realized that's probably not true. My muscles are thicker on my thighs, not necessarily my skin, but I did have pinprick marks on my thighs for days. But it took about 10 days to heal and for all the dry, rough skin to slough off, and they looked amazingly different because my skin has been actually literally scaly, like an animal on my thighs, like a scaly animal. And I've been dry brushing and using exfoliating gloves in the shower and everything, and it goes away. It helps a lot. I've been using a glycolic acid lotion, but it comes back. And I even use a home microdermabrasion thing on my thighs. But this microneedling really did help a lot. It changed the texture of my skin and these just weirdness. If you're my age, maybe you know what I'm talking about. So I was really happy with that. So I just did it again, but at a more shallow depth, because if you go to 0.5, you're only supposed to do that once every 4 to 6 weeks, and it was only 3 weeks ago. This is a lot easier than I thought it would be. It's a lot less painful. It's not painful at all. And not bleeding. I do, again, have some pinpricks on my thighs. Oh, I didn't do circles on this side. I think on my other side, I forgot to do the up and down. So I was talking too much, so I'm gonna go back and do that. And I have this little red mark right here that I have had since my son was little, and he had a red mark there, and the doctors said it was impetigo, and then I got whatever he had, and it's really never gone away from me. His went away because he was young and full of collagen. Okay, so I did everything except the area around my mouth. I'm going to turn up the pen for that because I have more texture. I'm just going to go to like 0.475. And let me make sure I have lots of hyaluronic acid. So I'm keeping my skin taut. And another thing that I found out from doing this is just because the surface of your skin looks fine, it doesn't mean nothing happened, because underneath there's still injury and healing going on. So I did this one day and nothing happened. I was like, doesn't look like I did anything. I really want to get something going here, start seeing results. So just 2 days later, I did it again at a more shallow depth. And I felt that a lot more. So I realized that even though the surface of my skin looked fine, there was definitely still a lot going on underneath. So, no need to rush. Do your research. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of YouTube videos. I have a lot of texture right here, so just want to get in there. And I'm gonna get these marionette lines, nasolabial folds. All right, so I'm gonna turn it back. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it there at that 4.75 for this area of my neck, which has the most lines. So I just used one cartridge for my face, neck, chest, and the back of my hands. But when I did my thighs, because that's a bigger area, I used one cartridge for each thigh. And I used a 16 pin for that. I expect that tomorrow I might be okay, but I'm expecting that I probably am going to have more dry skin over the next few days to a week. So because I'll be more dry, I might look a little more wrinkly. That's kind of the downside of it. But I'm willing to put up with it because I've just seen such good results. So, and I'm looking at more scientific studies and before and afters, and they're really very impressive. So I'll be really happy just to get a little more smoothness here. So you can also do this with a roller, a derma roller, but I don't like those as much. Some people prefer it, but I have done that. I did it on my legs once and I felt like I really dragged my skin. I had it looked like a cat scratched me up, and I would be terrified to do that on my face. So I'm gonna stick to this pen. I think it's really great. All right, the chest. So I sleep on my side, and I have some kind of long lines here from crushing up like this. So it'd be super awesome to get a little bit of that texture off. And honestly, I'm okay with how I look. I'm not battling my skin. I'm not hating my lines and wrinkles or my age, anything like that. I'm at peace with how I am, but I want to look as good as I can for my age. And so I just said for my age, and I know right now people are getting really upset about that if you tell them they look good for their age. Honestly, I don't care about that at all. It's happened to me many times. Someone finds out how old I am and they're like, "What? Oh my God, I can't believe it. You look great for your age." They're honestly trying to be nice. They were surprised. They're not intentionally being mean. If someone's trying to give me a compliment, I'm not gonna get on my high horse and ruin their day. I'm gonna take it. There's enough hate in the world, so why add to it? And honestly, it doesn't. The for your age thing doesn't bother me because I don't look good for 20. Let's be honest. Maybe I look good for 59, but I don't look good for 20. So, Okay, so done here. I'm gonna turn this down just a smidge. And I'm gonna do the backs of my hands now. So I have to put some of this on my hands. And I will say my hands have been the first to really show good results. The texture and clarity of the skin on my hands has already changed just with, I don't know, 2 microneedling sessions. So when I'm done here, I am going to splash water on my face, get rid of all this hyaluronic acid that's on my face. I'm going to stand in front of my red light for about 15 minutes and get some healing started. And I'm gonna do some videos about my red light too. I love it. I'm enjoying both of these new little things. And got one more pass on the hand. So I go over everything 3 times. You probably figured it out already because I do circles, side to side, up and down. Just to try to make sure you get all the space. Okay, so I'm done. Can turn that off. Turn it clockwise. Take it out, throw it away. Never, never, never reuse cartridge. And I'm done. I have no pain. I don't believe I have any blood or pinpricks. A little red on the chest and neck. That area always gets more red for me. And I'll keep you updated on how it's going. So I'm also hoping to affect this hyperpigmentation. This side was not as bad. This was my worst spot. And between the red light and the little bit of microneedling I've already done, I feel like I'm actually making progress on that. So, and it's summertime, so that's pretty good. All right, have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will put any information and links about this, including some of those articles and studies, in the information section. Bye-bye, have a great day.